So a couple things to keep in mind when we're walking on leash. One is I want you to think of the leash as your emergency backup plan. Okay? What I really want is a dog who's going to walk nicely next to you, whether there's a leash on or not. Okay? What I really want the leash to be is, yeah, we use the leash because there are leash laws and we don't want to get a ticket, or because it's my emergency backup plan because, you know, the one thing that gets him going is if the ice cream truck goes by, boy, he's just after it, or whatever that ultimate distraction is. So what I really want is them walking nicely with us. So first thing we need to do is keep a loose leash, because if we expect them not to pull, we need to not be pulling either. Okay? Because for most dogs, it's just normal to have a tight leash, because if they're not pulling on it, somebody else is. So one or the other end of the leash is getting pulled. So for most dogs, it's just natural to have a tight leash. They don't know any differently. Okay? So what we want these guys to learn is tight leash is not natural. Loose leash is what we always, always want. Okay? So it's as much training on one end of the leash as it is on the other, because what's our automatic tendency when we want the dog's attention, when we want to go a different direction, we're always using the leash to communicate with them. And what I want is the leash to not be your communication tool, okay? Because I want the dogs to be walking nicely with you whether there's a leash on or not, and I guarantee you they know whether there's a leash on or not. And if there's not, and that's the only way you can control them, guess what? You have no control when they're off leash, okay? And what I'd really like is for them to behave the same way whether there's a leash on or not. Okay? All right. So what I want you to think about when we're walking is not whether the leash is tight or not, but where their focus is. Okay? So if they're at the end of the leash pulling, guess what? They lost focus on you a long time ago. Okay? So what I really want is to pay attention to where their focus is. Now that doesn't mean that they need to be staring you in the eye the whole time. Okay? My dogs can pay attention to where I am without having to actually be looking directly at me. And as they get better at it, I mean, my dogs can walk out in front of me and still be paying attention to where I am because they gauge by the leash, and they know when they start getting towards the end of the day, slack off a little bit. They know where that leash is, and they know where I am. So as long as, for me, I don't care if they're right next to me. They can be out in front of me. I just want them paying attention to where I am and adjusting to my pace. Okay? All right. So, Camera Newton? Of course. Hey, Maddie, want to go for a walk? Yes, kiddo. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Ready? Let's go. Oh, such a good boy. Ready? Let's go. Yeah, what a good boy you are. Let's go. What a good boy. What a good boy. Let's go. Oh, what a good boy. That's enthusiasm. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, good boy. Oh, good boy. So, now if he loses focus, I'm just going to stop. Good boy. Let's go. What a good boy. Look at you. Such a nice boy. Look at you. So good. So good. Ready? Let's go. That's a good boy. Is there any tension on this leash? Let's go. That's enthusiasm. Let's get the back to going. Come on, let's go. So what do I do when he loses focus? Stop. Yeah, I'm going to stop. What I want him to learn is, if you're not paying attention, at least some attention to where I am, there's no forward motion. We're not going anywhere. Okay? I'm using treats in here because we're not actually out and going anywhere. But what I really want is the reward to be getting to proceed forward, getting to stop and sniff things, getting to visit your neighbor who you happen to run into, those kind of things. Those should be the rewards. Okay? If you need to use some treats initially to really be able to help them learn to focus, that's okay. We'll run out soon enough. That's not a very good. So all I'm going to do is help him understand that as long as he's paying attention to me, good things happen. And So as long as you're paying some attention to me, keeping some slack in the leash, we're going to keep proceeding forward. You lose focus on me, boom, I stop immediately. No forward motion. Okay? All right. So, what was I doing when he was paying attention to me? I was talking to him, I was giving him a lot of feedback. Okay? Now, you don't necessarily have to talk to him the entire time of the whole walk, but the more feedback you can give to begin with, you can slack off on that later, but what we have a tendency to do is, they're walking nicely with us, what do? We ignore them. We're doing what he's supposed to do. I'm just going to keep walking. And then what do you do as soon as he starts pulling? Give him attention. And you're giving him the attention. Okay? So what I really want is the feedback and the attention is for, wow, oh, what a good boy, paying such good attention. Very nice, thank you. Loses attention? I stop and wait. I'm going to give him a second to think about it. And some take longer to think about it than others. And I might ask once or twice, see if I can get him to turn back toward me. But if not, I'm just going to wait him out a little bit. And eventually he's going to go, what's up, Mom? Why aren't we moving? And I'm going to go, oh, good job. Let's go. Okay? And the reward is we get to keep moving. Okay? Make sense?